Have you ever paused to consider the influence of your thoughts on your life? This might seem like a simple question, but it's a profound one. Our thoughts, those intangible whispers within our minds, hold an extraordinary power, the power to shape our reality. Let's delve a bit deeper. Thoughts are much more than just fleeting notions that pass through our minds. They are the architects of our experiences, the draftsmen of our actions, and the sculptors of our emotions. Every decision we make, every emotion we feel, every action we undertake originates from a thought. You see, our brains are extraordinary machines, constantly processing information, generating thoughts, and projecting our perceptions onto the world. And here's the fascinating part. Our thoughts aren't just passive observers, they actively shape our reality. Think of your brain as an artist, and your thoughts as the paintbrush. The picture you end up with, your reality, is a direct result of how the artist wields the brush. Thoughts are the brushstrokes that color our world, giving it depth, texture, and meaning. Now, you might be wondering, how can something as intangible as a thought have such a profound effect? Well, there's a whole branch of psychology that deals with this. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT for short. In simple terms, CBT proposes that our thoughts can directly influence our mood and behavior. For instance, if you constantly think negatively, you're more likely to feel down and act in a pessimistic way. On the flip side, if you nurture positive thoughts, you're more likely to feel upbeat and act in a positive manner. Our thoughts are like seeds. Plant a seed of negativity and it'll grow into a weed, choking out positivity and happiness. But plant a seed of positivity and it'll grow into a beautiful tree, bearing the fruits of joy and contentment. Indeed, the thoughts you harbor can significantly shape your actions and your life. So, the next time you find yourself lost in thought, remember, those thoughts aren't just passing notions, they're the architects of your reality. But, is there a scientific explanation to this phenomenon? Well, it turns out there is. The science of thoughts is a vast field, but we can distill it to some fundamental concepts. Our thoughts are essentially electrical impulses that travel between neurons in our brain. Each thought triggers a neural pathway, which is a series of neurons connected by synapses. These pathways are like the brain's wiring, and they're responsible for all our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Our thoughts aren't just passive phenomena. They actively shape these neural pathways. This is due to a remarkable property of our brains called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. It's like our brain's own personal renovation team, constantly rewiring and reshaping our neural architecture based on our thoughts and experiences. So, what does this mean for us? It means that every thought we have can change the structure and function of our brain. When we think a thought for the first time, we create a new neural pathway. If we keep thinking that thought, we strengthen that pathway, making it easier and more likely for our brain to travel that route in the future. This can work both ways, positive or negative. For instance, if we often think negative thoughts about ourselves, we strengthen those negative neural pathways, making it easier for us to continue thinking negatively. On the other hand, if we cultivate positive thought patterns, we can strengthen positive neural pathways and make it more likely for us to think positively in the future. This isn't just a theory, it's backed by decades of scientific research. Studies have shown that repeated thoughts and actions can physically change the structure of our brains and thus our realities. For example, London taxi drivers, known for their expansive knowledge of the city's streets, have been found to have larger hippocampi, the part of the brain responsible for spatial navigation. Thus, science confirms that our thoughts have the power to shape our realities. The science of thoughts is not just about understanding how our brains work. It's about understanding how we can harness this knowledge to change our lives for the better. Now that we understand the power of thoughts, how can we use this knowledge to our advantage? Well, harnessing the power of thoughts is not as complicated as it may sound. It all starts with some simple yet powerful techniques. Let's start with mindfulness. Being mindful means being fully present in the moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It's like being an impartial observer to your own mind. When you practice mindfulness, you learn to see your thoughts as transient mental events rather than absolute truths. This can help reduce stress, improve focus, and foster a more positive mindset. Next up, positive affirmations. These are simply positive statements that you repeat to yourself, challenging negative or unhelpful thoughts. For instance, instead of thinking, "I can't do this," you might affirm, "I am capable and strong." By repeating these affirmations, you're reprogramming your brain to believe them. Over time, this can lead to improved self-esteem and a more optimistic outlook. Then we have cognitive restructuring. This technique involves identifying and challenging irrational or negative thoughts known as cognitive distortions. For example, if you often think, "I always mess up," that's an example of overgeneralization, one of many cognitive distortions. Cognitive restructuring helps you to challenge such thoughts, enabling you to replace them with more balanced, realistic ones. Now, you might be wondering, how can these techniques be used in everyday life? Well, let's say you're feeling nervous about a presentation at work. Practicing mindfulness can help you stay focused and calm. Positive affirmations like "I'm well prepared and confident" that can boost your self-belief. And if you find yourself thinking, "I'm going to fail," cognitive restructuring can help you challenge this thought and replace it with something more balanced, like "I've prepared well and I'll do my best." Harnessing the power of thoughts isn't about suppressing negative thoughts or forcing positivity. It's about becoming aware of your thought patterns, challenging unhelpful thoughts, and cultivating a healthier, more balanced mindset. By harnessing the power of thoughts, you have the ability to shape your life in the way you desire. So, what have we learned today about the power of thoughts? We've discovered that our thoughts are incredibly powerful, capable of shaping our reality. They are not just idle chatter in our minds, but influential architects of our lives. These internal dialogues can influence our emotions, our actions, even our health and well-being. We delved into the science of thoughts, examining how our brain processes and responds to these internal dialogues. We learned that our thoughts can physically alter our brain's structure and function, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. This demonstrates the tangible biological impact of our thoughts. And, crucially, we explored how to harness this power, how to channel our thoughts towards self-improvement. By understanding and controlling our thoughts, we can steer our lives in the direction we want, achieving our goals and fulfilling our potential. Remember, what you think matters. Harness the power of your thoughts and shape your life in the way you desire.